Well, I guess if you didn't like the charter system, this is your chance to get rid of it. Jenna Fryer from the Associated Press put out an article talking about what would happen and what has happened since then, back and forth between them and 2311 and Front Row. And in it, she said that NASCAR filed a 68-page appeal 1 hour before Daytona 500 qualifying. Now, it is important to note that NASCAR has not commented on this, but in the article, it also says that, quote, not liking the terms of a contract does not qualify as an antitrust case. NASCAR believes and is willing to see the case through trial. Should 2311 and Front Row prevail, it is believed that NASCAR will eliminate the charter system outright rather than negotiate new charters. And this is, wow, just huge. And the first thing that I thought of was kind of a meme, and it was Eric Cartman.
Okay, that does it. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
But if this happens, what is there to kind of take from all of this? Because this is a huge deal after what is such a huge NASCAR-altering lawsuit and back and forth. Well, first off, BJ McLeod and Tony Stewart made off like bandits. Like, damn, that is absolutely insane. The fact that they were able to make so much money off the charter system, and then a year, 2, maybe 3 later, it's not going to be a thing possibly. That is nuts. This would be NASCAR, in my opinion, nuking the fridge. It's exactly what Jim France has wanted for the longest time, and the France family, at least from what they've said and their actions, have not wanted or liked the charter system at all. It's given, in their eyes at least, way too much power to the teams and those that be in the sport rather than themselves. Then I find it really interesting that a lot of this is coming out right after it had just been talked about that the France family could sell some of their stake in the sport to somebody else. And that's something, again, that's completely unheard of, but I have a feeling this is something that's arm in arm with the charter negotiations and especially the lawsuits surrounding them. But I think this would be the team's last straw. I mean, think about it for a second. This is exactly the stuff the teams don't want. Every team in some way or another wants the charter agreement to stay. You have the 13 that signed and the 2 that want, in their eyes at least, or at least what they've said, a better deal. And I think that you could see some absolutely crazy stuff from this. First off, there probably is a possibility of strikes, and they could be very prevalent. I mean, for one, they could strike when it comes to different advertising or different things that they don't want to do or things that cost them money. It was rumored before the season that had they not gotten the ability to run with the charter in 2025, that teams like 2311 and Front Row would have probably skipped out on a lot of races to save money, or races that didn't really need to be run in their bottom line in general. And that could be something that could be a wide scale. And maybe that means that they would sit out races in Mexico or on the West Coast, ones that have a ton of cost to get there. And that could be every team. And I think it's a guarantee that if NASCAR were to do this, which again, I think is very much the nuclear option, that countersuits are inevitable and guaranteed in every single way. Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske, you name all of them, would all be united against NASCAR in this way. And it wouldn't matter what level the team was, whether it was elite, mid-pack, or just plain slow. All of them would lose out on this. And with that, I think that these two options, while extreme, would be the most likely you would see. But there is another option that NASCAR would probably be hoping for: cowardice. They don't have the stones, possibly, to do what 2311 and Front Row have done, to fall in line instead. That's NASCAR's biggest hope with this. And I will say, NASCAR sending this message is a shot across the bow to every single team. And it's been widely speculated, as well as widely proven, that there are some terms to the charter agreement, including not talking basically bad about NASCAR in any way, that the teams would have to face. Though with the charter agreement gone, they'd be opened up to that hypothetically. And I think this is something that, a lot of people are really wanting to see. They don't like the charter system, but they got to think it through. Because why does this matter? A lot of people are asking, why does it matter? Who cares? I don't like this system. I liked how it was before. Well, you got to think about it. Since the charters were introduced in 2016, there's been a lot of teams that have come and gone in NASCAR. But the ones that have joined, or at least improved, are major in the sport today. Spire, Call League, 2311, Legacy Motor Club, all have varying degrees of success, but are generally in that main block of cars from 1 through 30 in most weeks. Those teams all basically are the way they are today because they were insured by the charter system, both in races as well as their overall investment. And teams like Front Row and RFK have improved in so many ways during this system. Now, others will also note, though, there have been a lot that have fallen away of the dodo, like Stewart-Haas Racing, Ganassi, Levine Family Racing, Furniture Row. 2 of those are championship winning teams in SHR and Furniture Row. Those ones have fallen away. Though I would say they at least had some return on investment, especially Stewart-Haas Racing, who sold off so many charters and got so much money, even at a discounted rate, that it might not have been a gain long term, but let's not think that Tony Stewart isn't just sitting pretty right now. There is a lot of different things that could come of this, but a quick business model change, I think, is a dire thing for teams. Why? Because they have shaped their teams in the last 10 years around the charter agreement, and now have been trying to push, at least with 2311 and Front Row, for at least a better charter agreement. And the new teams, or the lower level ones, they'll be the first to go. The ones that don't want to stay around because it's just not enough ROI in any way to do so. Maybe a track house, definitely 2311, maybe a Front Row, or the lower level ones, Rick Ware Racing. I know everyone says, oh, they suck and we don't want them out there, but they are a team that's improved speed-wise a lot over the last couple years. They could go away. And when you start losing the back of the field, then suddenly the bottom of the middle of the pack becomes the back of the field, and they're the ones with those problems. Instead of seeing a minimum of 36 cars each week, we could see teams sitting out or falling away, and suddenly you only have maybe 30, 28, 26 showing up. Nobody wants to see a 26-car race for 500 miles at Talladega, for instance. The model has been in place for a decade, and the snapback will be dire for so many different teams. Plus, you have to also think about how it works at the track. How is qualifying into the field and the max field size is going to work? Is 40 going to be the way they go about it? Are they going to have some variation of the top 35 rule? Go back to the way it was pre-top 35 rule, have provisionals, things like that. There's going to be so many changes, not only for the teams, but also for fans to follow on top of teams not showing up. Overall, I think this will lead to way more unforeseen issues than people like to think. All people are going to see is either charter system or no charter system, and that is not the way to look at this situation. There's so much to do. If they were to go away from the charter system, there needs to be an off-ramp period. There needs to be the option, 1, for teams to jump out or jump in, but 2, for them to have time to change their business model so millions of dollars aren't being wasted per team. But it's going to be something we follow all season long. I don't think we're going to see a resolution to this anytime soon. So now I want to ask, what do you think will happen? Do you think that NASCAR is going to take away the charter systems and lose? Or do you think that 2311 and Front Row are going to win and we're going to see some real reform with the system in place? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.